All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I am Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. I'm glad to be here. Hopefully you're glad to join us as well. Let's take a look and see what your markets are doing, because markets are your money. Let's take a look at corn. It's been between 5 and 7 cents lower all day today. We're still kind of there. Maybe we've recovered a tad, I suppose, if I was looking at it positively. SEP's down 5 3/4 cents to 3.92 even now, 6 cents lower at 3.92 even. We're up 2 cents off the low of a 9-cent range. New crop D's down 5.5 cents to 406 1/4. That's a penny and 3/4 off the low of the day there, and we've had about an 8.5 cent range. Let's move out to the beans. They recovered a little bit. They're about 2.5 cents higher, except for August. That's just up 1 tick, 1/4 cent. 10.97.5 last. We were over 11. 11.01 was the high, but we're not there now. Nove's up 2 1/4 cents to 10.43 1/4, and again, that's about 3 cents off the high of a 15-cent range, 14.5 cent range. Right, so a little bit of strength there right now. Let's go to the Chicago wheat market. That's going to be down about between 3/4 of a penny and 1 1/4 cents. SEP's the leader to the downside, down 1 1/4 cents to 5.38, 5 cents off the low. And you move on out to March, that's down a penny to 5.82 3/4. So let's move out to Kansas City and take a look at the hard red. That's up about the same as the Chicago was down. We're up in the SEP hard red to 5.63.5. That's up 2 3/4 cents. The March is up 2 1/4 cents to 5.93 1/4. That's the hard red. Let's move out to the spring wheat in Minneapolis. Minneapolis spring wheat's up 10.5 cents to 6.02 1/4. And March is up 9.5 cents to 6.37.5. That's the spring wheat in Minneapolis. We'll get to the cotton, and we'll get to our next guest analyst. Cotton now is 29 points lower in the D's, 71.78. Let's bring him in. Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading. He's in Valparaiso, Indiana. All right, Tommy, what's top of mind?
We got a lot of stuff going on. I have a software to the right of me. It's just a website called Predict It, and it seems to be very accurate in things changing. It very much switched if you're out there in the world, look at Predict It. There's some things going on in the outside worlds that we could talk about for an hour, but it's affecting the markets. Last night, if you looked at the markets, you would have thought you were missing the start of the next big rally with corn and beans and wheat up. Now we have corn down 5, beans, trying to stabilize, and wheat, the only wheat doing well is spring wheat. Actually, front month Board of Trade wheat's down. There's a lot of things going on in the outside world. I'd love to say, because you and I each have 30 years experience doing this, maybe more, that we could help you through a situation like that. But as we come into the weekend, you and I have never lived through a presidential assassination. And what's happening to the Democratic Party right now is they get organized to find out who their candidate is for United States president. This will affect farmers. It will affect ranchers. It needs to be talked about. We don't have a farm bill right now, and you out in ag land should be upset about that. So there's a lot of things happening in politics. I'm rooting for America. I'm bullish America. We just want to know what that future and that picture of America looks like here in the next 100 days. Scotty, back to you.
You make some really good points, and you're right, we don't have a farm bill, and there is a lot of unrest when it comes to what's been happening with our products. And yesterday was a great example of that. It doesn't have to be our products per se, but it just takes one utterance from one of the contenders for that presidential leadership spot that can make the markets really do some crazy stuff. And yesterday was a great example. I think President Trump in a Bloomberg interview said, or past President Trump in a Bloomberg interview said that he doesn't think that he's angry with Taiwan for taking a lot of our chip making and thinks that they should pay for U.S. support. Well, what does that do to the chip industry? I mean, oh my word, things obviously were upset. And then you've got what might be happening with the toing and froing with China and the U.S. as far as tariffs there. I guess the only good thing is that China's really not buying our stuff right now anyway. So if there's a problem, we're already there. It's like a new normal. We don't have China banging our doors down to buy our products just yet. At least they haven't shown up. So, man, I agree with you. And I think also, I'm going to do this in the Cow Guy Close tonight. One of the subjects we're going to talk about is China is significantly weaker. They've got some problems, and their GDP is sinking. They need to have some big time stimulus. And if you start to see China sink, what does that do to the rest of the world? What does it do to us? What does it do with our products, our stocks, our commodities? So that's another big one. There's a lot of things. You're exactly right. There's a lot out there. So we're going to go away, take a quick break. We're going to come back and ask Tommy to stick around. We're going to talk about livestock. We'll be right back right after these messages. All right, welcome back. Why don't we talk about some livestock prices? That's something you're probably interested in. Let's take a look and see. It hasn't been very good, so I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. We were off a couple of bucks in the cattle, and we still are, not all the way across the board, but here we go. Live cattle. That's down in August, $1.82. 182.45 is last there. We've kind of come back off of the lows. We're $2.32 lower in October to 183.25. So anywhere between, say, I don't know, we're $2.35 lower to $1.82 lower across the board for live cattle. Moving to the feeder cattle, why don't we take a look at that? That's about where it was last time. A lot of $2 lower levels here. We got August off $2.17 to 256.37. But that's come back from the precipice. And we've also got October off $2.15 to 257.25. So both live cattle and feeder cattle kind of taking it on the chin here early on, or at least the mid-session. Let's take a look at lean hogs before we get back to our guest analyst. They're mixed. Doesn't know what it wants to do. August is down 12 cents to 91.52. We're up 20 cents in October. 73.87 is last there, and then we're down another 40 cents in Dees. Boy, look at that, all over the place. 65.47 is last there. Let's bring him back in. Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading of Valparaiso, Indiana. Tommy, anything you see there that you want to get off your chest?
No, I wore a sport coat, so I'd look more presidential. I didn't have a cow coat. Like, if we were to run for office, would it be you president, me VP, or me president, you VP? Do you have any suggestions there?
I would just be your bouncer. You could be the
Sounds good.
president.
You know what? Put Suzanne on the ticket. I know she's sitting right next to you, she'd be awesome. Listen, on a serious note, we've just witnessed extreme volatility in the cattle market. And with what's going on in the stock market, upon filming this, the Dow Jones is down 300. Totally normal. We're at 41,000 Dow. While that Nasdaq was tanking yesterday, the Dow Jones exploded. One of the wildest trade I've seen in the stock market in my career, to see something absolutely explode in a stock market indice and the other one break. Expect continued volatility, not just for the next 100 days into the election, but as people are elected, watch those policy. Again, I repeat, we do not have a farm bill. We have problems in D.C., and we need people who can fix those. We need solutions, not sarcasm. Back to you, Scott, the cow guy.
I don't have either one of those, but you're exactly right. And there are a lot of things that need to get done, and hopefully that happens. But to your point, yesterday we saw the Nasdaq off over 2.5%, and we saw the Dow up. I don't know if that's ever happened before. At least it hasn't happened for a long time, to see those indices take two different paths. And we're going to talk about that again also on the Cow Guy Close tonight. They call it the great rotation, but people are getting out of. It's actually the modern portfolio theory of money management. It's an idea that came to fruition in 1952 by a guy named Markowitz. But basically, people taking their winners off the table and investing in the losers. It's pretty simple, but that's something we had to know when I got my licenses 37 years ago, Tommy. All right, brother. Thanks for all that. Great stuff as usual. Thanks for being on the show, Tommy Grisafi. He's in Valparaiso, Indiana. I'm going to bring it back here too. We're going to go to break. Yeah, are we? We're going to go to break and talk more livestock right after this.